Just like what I said with the Wii U, the Nintendo 2DS is basically every Nintendo fanboy's favorite console. Thankfully, unlike the Wii U, its marketing was actually pretty good and solid during its time, which means it was able to keep Nintendo in business along with the NES Classic and its mobile games, while the Wii U was making them lose a bunch of money. During that era though, we did get some absolutely spectacular 3DS games. Some of them were good, some of them were absolutely mind-blowing, and some of them not so much. But hey, during that time, you have to admit, the 3DS definitely had a pretty dang good life. Shockingly, the 3DS itself even had a longer lifespan than the Wii U's, and even sold 75.94 million units, which I'm assuming some people were actually able to get their hands on one and actually find one, unlike the Wii U. One of my favorite 3DS games is The Amazing Spider-Man for Nintendo 3DS. I mean, sure, its graphics were a little bit downgraded, but it was pretty awesome at the time to play a 3D Spider-Man game on a handheld. Of course, the PlayStation Vita can do this too, but the 3DS version is my preferred version, along with the Xbox 360 version as well. Really hope I get the Wii U version one day. Another favorite game I absolutely loved is a eShop indie, which is Mario and Donkey Kong Minis on the Move. The reason I loved that game is because not only do you get to do puzzles in 3D, but there's this toy box collection where you get to move around the mini Marios like an actual action figure. I really hope Nintendo one day makes this into a reality. My third favorite 3DS game is Super Mario 3D Land. I absolutely loved this game when I was young. It had a bunch of potential. It deserves more love and attention. My second favorite 3DS game was New Super Mario Bros. 2. Now yes, it is a lazy sequel, but how I see it and for my headcanon, for my eyes, it's basically a New Super Mario Bros. Wii on a 3DS handheld. You can play New Super Mario Bros. Wii anywhere, on how I see it. But one of my favorite parts about the game is the co-op mode, where you get to play with a friend. I remember playing this game during long car trips with my 3DS. My twin sister, and we enjoyed the heck out of it. My number one 3DS game is Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS. This was the game that I absolutely enjoyed big time. And of course, you can play your amiibos anywhere now thanks to the new 3DS. And it was really cool at the time. This right here is the 3DS I used my amiibos on. I'm sure you can tell I've used it a lot because you can see the amiibo scratch stains and stuff I kept tapping it on ever since. But nowadays, I've actually modded my new 3DS, and by the looks of it, it looks pretty dang cool when modded. Of course, I used my Smash Mario on my new 3DS all the time. Nowadays, you can get them that's less expensive for 15 bucks. Back then, the amiibos were $12.99, and yes, I did actually take a picture of this a few years ago, along with my Spider-Man and Nova Disney Infinity figures I got, and those are some good memories. So, besides playing video games on my 3DS, a couple things I used to do on it was actually film and do stop motion on it. That's right, youngsters. Back then, Nintendo actually had a system update that allowed you to do stop motion videos and film videos on your 3DS, which is absolutely pretty damn cool. Another thing that was impressive during this time is you can actually download trailers onto your 3DS and watch them to get prepared for new releases. For example, Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D had a trailer, a downloadable video trailer, and we get to watch how the game actually plays while we're waiting for its release. I absolutely love that. Love that jingle. Yes, they absolutely had a bunch of collection videos that you can watch while you're on the go or in a long car trip. And yeah, they actually work, and it's pretty dang cool. Yeah, if you look closely, there are a ton of downloadable videos I downloaded and got prepared. However, if some of those videos aren't your cup of tea, then that's totally fine. Because I found a YouTube video that showed you how to MP4 download some videos onto your 3DS as well. So now you can watch YouTube videos that are MP4 download anywhere you go while you're on long car trips. And it's pretty dang fascinating. Yeah, they may seem a little choppy, but they still run pretty smooth, and yeah. Mario Unreal is always my favorite YouTube video. Of course, I've got some other funny videos as well, along with some Smash videos as well. So, after the blue 2DS I used to have, I got this one for my birthday, and it's still a fascinating new 3DS XL model, and yeah, it's really dang impressive. But of course, I modded it and homebrewed it. I'm sure you can already tell because I've got the Mario 64 3DS port along with the Luigi port as well, which is actually pretty dang impressive. And of course, thanks to the homebrew, I actually managed to get 4 Swords back. 4 Swords Anniversary. Yeah, the 3D All-Stars before the 3D All-Stars, but more complicated to get. But thanks to the power of homebrew, I managed to get it back. As the years went on, I would eventually get this sucker off eBay, and of course did some modifications of my own. And yeah, this isn't homebrewed, I do have R4 on it, but yeah, this is basically, nowadays, my definitive 2DS I always take with me anywhere on the go. This right here is my twin sister's one, and yeah, it still works like a champ, and it's been through a lot, and yeah. And here is a creeper version, as you can already tell. And here is a white 2DS version, and as you can see here, it has the Dreamcast wallpaper because I want to mimic this to look exactly like the Dreamcast style, and yeah. I'm reading your minds right now. M64 Bros, how the hell are you able to afford all this? Well, it's really simple. I save up my cash, and I have a job of my own. Nowadays, I just watch MP4 videos on my 2DS whenever I get bored, or play online with Super Smash Bros. Whenever I find someone out there on the internet that still has this copy and is able to play online with me, if they're interested. Also, there will be sometimes I still take my 2DS with me anywhere, but nowadays, sadly, no one around my area has a 2DS/3DS anymore. But I still get some Street Pass Mii Plaza thanks to online play, thankfully. One of my favorite parts about the 3DS is its eShop. Everyone has their own personal favorite eShop, but for me, I always prefer the 3DS eShop as my second favorite Nintendo eShop ever. My first #1 favorite eShop is the Wii itself, the original Wii, but that's a whole other video I'll explain in a later date. But for now, let's talk about the 3DS eShop. Still can't get over how cool that is. The Nintendo 3DS eShop, in my opinion, has a lot more charm, content, and personality than the Wii U. You can digital download downloadable videos, it has more Sonic games than the Wii U, and basically everything about it is just absolutely spectacular. Fun fact, New Super Mario Bros. 2 became the very first digital download title for the Nintendo eShop, and then the other previous games would follow as well. And of course, you can scan QR codes, redeem download codes back then, and you can re-download software and download them back. And save some to your, account if you run out of space. For example, I've got Kirby's Epic Yarn, Mario Golf, Mario Maker 3DS, WarioWare Gold, and yeah. And Sonic Lost World. And yeah, it's pretty nice to have your own Nintendo Network ID account, store all these so you can re-download them later. But as for right now, I am perfectly fine with the collection I have just the way it is, and yeah, you can tell I had an absolute blast with it, and yeah. There are no cons with the 3DS or anything I can find. Of course, there are some articles mentioning the 3DS didn't sell well, but still sold well to the public, so I'll let that one pass. But there is one con that I'm still annoyed about, but there are alternate ways to get through it. Let's talk about the big elephant in the room as well. Now, yes, it really does bum me out that the 3DS and the Wii U eShops are sadly shutting down. But on the bright side, you can still re-download those games. Now keep in mind, the Wii/DSi shops also shut down back in 2019 as well. And only a little bit of people freaked out about it. And now that the Wii U/3DS eShops are shutting down, there seems to be just a lot of people freaking out about it as well. However, what's the nice touch though is Nintendo did actually release a memory/3DS and Wii U memories we had. So that does show that proof that Nintendo does have heart still for the 3DS and the Wii U era. Nowadays, and thankfully, us gamers can homebrew / R4, the DS systems, to make us still enjoy the enjoyment of those games. Lastly, here's the truth. Nintendo doesn't actually give a damn about privacy. Yeah, you heard me. It's just a stupid internet joke that's not even realistic. So for as long as you don't send Nintendo your play information, if you disable that feature on the 3DS, you should be fine. Besides, privating Nintendo games doesn't really affect them, and they don't even care about it. It's just a stupid internet joke that's not even realistic. I've read Reddit articles explained about it, and yeah. They're just trying to scare people, so no worries. You should be fine. Other than that, let's proceed with the video. The homebrew scene did an absolutely magnificent job of keeping the 3DS alive and for years to come. I decided to homebrew my 3DS just to try out the Super Mario 64 3DS port, and by the looks of it, it was absolutely mind-blowing seeing Mario 64 run on a 3DS, and I've been wishing something like this would happen ever since. Well, nowadays, you can just do it on your 3DS and your regular DS as well. Of course, thanks to Homebrew, you're allowed to play Mario 64 on the regular 3DS straight from the ground up, or you could play with the original version as well, which is a modded version of the N64 Mario created by YouTuber RussMars2. And this mod right here is one of my favorite mods ever, and you can definitely tell I absolutely love the low poly version of Mario. I'm glad this sucker was ported to Odyssey, and if you put them side by side, you can definitely tell some differences here as well, and it's really just absolutely cool. While the Nintendo eShop will probably be shut down forever, but you can still re-download some softwares you previously download, there's always the H-Shop right here, which allows you to download games from there that was originally from the eShop. So all you've got to do is get your QR code scanner, scan this, and then abracadabra, press A, and then from there, it will install. Oh, give me a sec. Okay, well, apologies from there, but with the QR code, I was able to get this back. Yeah, I got the QR code just to get 4 swords back, and yeah. You Zelda fans probably already know 4 swords already, and I already mentioned it earlier in the video. But yeah, R4 definitely has a bunch of potential. I just love the sounds from it. Also, thanks to the power of Homebrew, I was able to get Miiverse back, which is actually one of my favorite communities ever. And of course, thanks to that, I think I probably automatically got a reverse account, and yeah. And as you can see here, you guys can follow me for those I've already homebrewed the 3DS, and yeah. There's also the R4 cards as well. If homebrewing's a little bit too challenging for you, you could do the R4s as well, which are a much easier alternative as well. This wallpaper right here was created by Dimitri himself. He actually made me that wallpaper, which is very cool of him, and yeah. And yeah, from them, for the R4 I've got everything I got from the other DS as well, and yeah. And it's pretty dang impressive. I've got more DS games to get in, yeah. Of course, here's the 2 mods side by side together. One running on the R4, while the other one is running on a real actual DS hardware, thanks to the 101 game cards I got earlier from my local game store. So what I did was I transferred everything from my R4 right here and transferred it to the 273-in-1 and made it more better, and yeah. So yeah, that is pretty much the cool thing about these cards. You can transfer between games if you have a PC, and yeah, it's pretty dang impressive. Lastly, on the R4 devices, you are able to run NES games and Game Boy games as well. Surprisingly, the NES emulator runs pretty dang smooth by the looks of it, and yeah, it's absolutely pretty dang cool. And of course, I would get Game Boy Color games on this sucker as well. And of course I got my favorite, Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins, which in my opinion is the best Game Boy Color game ever. Now, I'm gonna show you guys my one final favorite 3DS game slash virtual console game before it's completely gone. Well, not technically gone, but you can still play it on other devices. Super Mario Bros. 3 had a fantastic virtual console trailer where it shows you could do download play with friends together nearby. The Wii U version was pretty good as well. Also, Super Mario Bros. 3 is my favorite Mario game and the same game where I got my red and black Mario OC, which is pretty damn cool. Also, the small Mario sprite from that game is hands down my favorite Mario sprite ever. I would pick this Mario sprite over the original NES Mario sprite, although the original first Mario Bros. NES sprite is still legendary and will never get old. But I truly believe the Super Mario Bros. 3 Small Mario sprite deserves more attention, and it's iconic as well, and has some personality with it as well. As a massive 3DS owner of my own, I'm sure I'm gonna miss the 3DS eShop and miss the 3DS big time. However, I know for an absolute fact that there's still gonna be a bunch of people still playing on this thing online and doing some other fun stuff with it ever since. So many casual gamers and handheld fans still have massive heart for this Nintendo 3DS and other 3DS models, and still to this day, I'm still seeing them praise the 3DS big time. And the 3DS slash the Red and Dark 2DS will always be my second favorite Nintendo console ever.